I think the theme is going to be just steadiness, right? So when we get off kilter, such as when we're standing on one foot or in any balanced pose, it's very easy for our minds to just kind of come into a place of, hold on, I'm turning off all my ringers. Um, it's very easy for our mind to follow whatever the unsteadiness is, whether it's an unsteadiness in our mind, an unsteadiness in our body, an unsteadiness in our environment, our relationships, our world, whatever, wherever the unsteadiness is residing. One of the most important aspects is what our mind is doing. So when we practice today and you kind of are challenged in a balanced posture, remember that it's practice for the mind. It's not just practice for the body. Of course, it's beautiful practice for, just having good balance in your body, and that's a beautiful thing. But try to pay attention as we're practicing to that relationship that the mind and body has. So I think it's not uncommon for us to, when we feel unsuccessful in a balanced posture or our balance is a little off, we can get all trapped up in our mind about it. So notice if tends to happen to you, as well as if you have good balance. If you also get trapped up in your mind about it, if your ego starts attaching to a posture, or if you're like not breathing to keep yourself there, all the ways that we try to kind of get stubborn and ossify around a control point. Let's see if we can allow our balanced postures to teach us flow, to teach us that maybe we are not in control. And maybe if we fall or if we stagger, that we can just let our mind follow what's happening and keep regrouping and keep regrouping and keep regrouping. All right. So go ahead and sit up straight and tall and just take a moment to allow your attention to draw inward. And hopefully you're sitting up on a good surface where your pelvis feels able to tilt a little bit so that your spine has the support that it needs. And then rest within this posture. See if you can soften your shoulders and feel your way into a sense of freedom in your heart space and in your breathing. Relax your brain. See if you can kind of recede away from your skull bones a little bit, a little teeny retreat. Felt everything you can find. Feel a deep grounding through to your seat. And allow your roots to drop and grow wide and deep. And see if you can get the sense of being so rooted that, if someone came over and kind of tackled you with a hug, you could stay upright and be able to support their weight coming toward you. And less from a sense of bracing, although core strength is a big aspect of your balance. Less of a sense of bracing in this moment and more of a sense of just finding those deep, deep roots. See if you can imagine yourself like a pillar or a rock in the sea, that the shore is kind of crashing upon and receding away from, where there's a steadiness within you no matter what is happening to you. There's a steadiness inside. And just like the force of water crashing on rock is one of the most powerful forces in the world, to have that surge of water, it also is such a fluid process of moving toward and then moving away. So imagine with your breath this rhythmic flow of being able to move with the tides, even as the currents are very strong. Let's bring our hands together at your heart and bow in for a moment. Just feel the sensing of your eyes resting, your third eye resting. Find that mudra of centering and bring an attention to your intention here. Let's release the hands and find our way to our back. All right. So as you stretch out and lengthen on your mat, always such a joy and a pleasure, I hope, for you to just lie down for a moment and let your body stretch out and lengthen. So enjoy what's here. Maybe your arms come overhead. Maybe you're just resting your arms down at your sides. And so whatever works for the beginning of your practice here. But if your arms overhead, let's have some good stretching. Feeling your shoulders extend one at a time, getting your side bodies to open up. Breathing deeply here. And then draw your knees into your chest and give yourself a hug. A little rocking if it feels nice to do so. A little side movement. And then hang on to your knees and let's circle here. We're rolling in your hips for a little bit this direction. And rolling into your hips a little bit the other direction. And then let's open up your knees away from the center and bring them back in and just see what it feels like to have a little bit of range in your hip joints here. What's happening in those today? Right knee hugging into your chest. And go ahead and let's focus a lot right now on what's happening in your feet and in your ankles. So, there's a lot of nerve endings in the bottom of your feet. There's a lot of lymph in your feet. There's just a lot. There's a lot of joints in your feet. So let's just enjoy what the feet have to offer and see if you can articulate lots and lots. Just get everything to kind of wake up. And then go ahead and squeeze the other knee, left knee and right leg long on the ground. And now instead of focusing on the actual feet, let's focus on your ankle joints. Do a big circle, as big as a circle as you can find in both ankles, 2 or 3 times each direction. And then have a flex and a point. And then let's have a point in there too. So if you don't know what I mean, and now go ahead and release your left knee. We'll have both legs doing this at the same time. So stay on the ground. So a point is, imagine you're on a very tall pair of high heels. So you're like pointing your feet, but then flex just your toes. And so that's a point. And we're going to go from, so now just relax your feet for a minute. Give them a little shake. Can be very challenging to wake up a lot of the strength in your feet. Okay, so point your toes. Point your toes, flex your toes, or flex your whole foot, and then point, and then point, and then point, and then flex. Point, 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 flex. Try to go the same pace as me. Point, 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 flex. Point, 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 flex. One more time. Point, 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 flex. And then rest your feet. Notice the muscles that are waking up. Give them a little rock. And now we're going to invert and evert our feet. So if you don't know what that means, imagine the soles of your feet have lights to shine on them. And we want to turn our lights to shine outward, left and right. So left turns left, right turns right. And then we want to turn our lights to shine at each other. So we're going to turn the bottom of our feet to face each other, and then the bottom of our feet to face away from each other. And try to get this in the ankle joints too, not just in the toes. See if you can get the whole foot to feel that range of motion of inverting and everting. It's a subtlety of our balance to have a really good range in the inversion and eversion. Okay, then relax your feet. And notice if one foot, and everything we're doing, do you have more control in one foot or the other foot? Do you have, something going on? Very common for people to have all sorts of issues with their feet. So just notice what's happening when we go about, strengthening our feet here. All right, so let's go ahead and stretch your limbs out like a star, reaching and lengthening and opening, and then exhale and draw your knees into your chest. Let's repeat one more time. Big, open, spacious star, and exhale and draw into a snug ball. Roll over onto your side and come up to your hands and your knees. Now, as we find our way onto all fours, cat-cows is such a beautiful way to open up your spine and bring yourself into a lot of freedom. So take your time arching the back, rounding the spine. Breathing as you go. Remember, nothing happens well without your breath being involved, so make sure your breath is a guiding light. And then move around any which way you want to move around, so you can swirl about in your spine in all sorts of ways. Just marvel and be excited and happy about how your spine is moving today. Isn't it so nice to be able to move your spine? Try not to get rigid or stuck in what you should or could do, but just feel what's happening. And then drop back towards child's pose and take the arms out in front of you and feel that deep reach in the body. Feel it grounding through your sit bones. And then let's walk the hands over to one side or the other. And while you're here, again, sink into that deep grounding where you feel super close to the earth. Feel that deep connection to the earth. And then over to the other side and allowing your breath to travel well. Feel that deep sense of grounding again. And come back. Up you go onto all fours. Let's take our twist, reach the left arm up in the air. Exhale, slide that arm under and twist here. Enjoy what you're feeling. Melt the head. Soften the skull. Let the base of your skull relax. Breathing deeply. And then inhale, bring that arm back up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground, switch sides. Arm up. Bring the arm under. Gazing toward the floor. A full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, bring that arm back up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground. Lift up into a dog pose. And so here's another opportunity to say hi to our feet. Let's take some time to pedal here, dropping one heel down, dropping the other. Let some movement happen first instead of holding. So just pedal left and right, left and right. Grounding through your hands. And then when you're ready, let's hold one of these. So drop your heel down close or to the floor. Lift your sit bone up, the other knee is bent. Spread out the bones of your foot. Opening up that calf muscle. And then switch sides. Drop the other heel down, bend the other knee, spread the toes. Lift the sit bone. And then see what it feels like to draw both heels straight back toward the wall behind you and then down and lift through your sit bones at the same time. Push through your hands, feel that extension in your body. All right, and then we'll walk our feet forward and come to Uttanasana. Okay, shimmy your hips, shimmy your shoulders. Inhale for a halfway lift. Melt and fold again. climbing all the way up. Bring the arms to the sky, feeling that extension. Open up. Let's cactus open the arms. Feel a sense of freedom. And exhaling, rounded forearms to touch. Inhale, rising up again. Go ahead and bring your arms back out into a cactus. And then release your hands down at your sides. For this, we're going to keep our hands down or out to the sides instead of up overhead for now. And I just want you to rock back and forth on your feet. So be very mindful. If you have some foot issues going on, only go to the place where your body says is a good, healthy, safe place. But if you can come up onto your toe beds and back onto your heel beds, that's really great. We're warming up our calves, warming up our feet a little bit more. Breathing deeply. And then this time, lift your arms up and we'll stay up under our toes. Our first bit of balance here. Notice what your eyes are doing. Focus your attention. Soften your gaze. Fill up your breath. And then bring your arms out to the side. Now I want you to imagine that you're an Olympic diver on a platform or a diving board and you're facing backwards to the water. You don't even know where you're gonna go. And the steadiness, the groundedness. And then lower your heels back down. Grab your 2 blocks. Okay. And we're going to stick the blocks underneath. Here, let me show this from the side. We're gonna stick the blocks underneath our feet by kind of climbing up the blocks. And this may not be accessible for everybody. You might need a little more height, and you can bend your knees if you want to. You don't have to have your legs straight. Feel the heart lift forward. And then relax and melt that. And we're gonna come down to a squat. Now, a low squat. So see how you do. Not everybody's great at deep squatting. But what I want you to think about is bringing your hands close to the ground, or to the ground rather, and then drop your heels back. So we're leaning forward and then dropping our heels back. Lean forward a little bit and drop your heels back. So just kind of swaying back and forth. This is going to open up your soleus muscles, which are underneath your gastrocnemius muscles, your calf muscles. All right, and then come to, and you can sit on something, you know, if you need a block underneath you for a deep squat, you can do that. But whichever way you want to go about it, we're going to just be here in a low, deep squat. Lift your chest. Imagine how close you are to the ground. Close your eyes for a moment. Just let your hips receive you. Drop your torso down into the pelvis. Rise up through your heart. All right. Come back onto your knees. Find your way to all fours and move your spine around. Maybe a little wagging of your tail. Maybe a little bit of cat-cowing. See what feels good. All right, we're going to come forward on our seat for a moment, and you can sit on the edge of a blanket if you want, or you can just be here. We're going to straighten our legs out, and you can, if this is hard on your back, you can lean back a little bit and put your hands behind you so your back has some support, whichever feels good to you. Okay. All right, so back to this flexing and pointing. So we'll point our toes, and now we'll point our toes, and we're going to take our time with this. Spread your toes wide. See if you can get some space between your toes, and then flex your feet. And then point your feet, spread those toes, and then point your toes. And then point your toes, spread those toes. If you're getting cramps, you can just stop for a moment. One more time, a point and a point. All right, now just relax your feet. And we're going to do a little E version. We're going to add a little bit of the rest of our legs into this in just a moment. So feet are hip width apart to begin. And we're going to start by bringing our outer feet and hug them up toward our hips so that we're like those headlights are on the bottom of your foot. They're going to turn out. Pinky toe sides of the foot pull up. Now feel that chain all the way up into your hips, so that, you know, that side line of the body. We need a lot of that for balance. And then relax. And we'll repeat it one more time. And if you get a cramp in your hip, bravo, it means you went all the way up the chain. Okay, so outer feet, outer edge of your feet, pull and draw up all the way. Now drop your femur bones down. Don't let your knees cave in. Pull your outer feet all the way up into the outer hips. Okay, and then relax. Give your legs a little bit of a wobble, a little bit of a shake. Now to get the rest of your legs involved, we're gonna do this with one leg at a time. So bend your right knee, left leg is straight. We're gonna have the block at our calf level, you know, not beyond your foot, but somewhere around there, you know, around your foot and your calf. Low height of the block. You can always go higher if you want. Engage your core, lean back a teeniest bit so your back is supported by your hands that are on the ground. Inhale, lift your leg, bring it over to the other side, and back over. Engage your core to do this. Okay, so can you feel all the muscles in that sideline of your leg, along with your quads, helping you? So activate that TFL. It's such a small little muscle, but it's a hip flexor. So you're activating it here along with your psoas and your quads. And then relax. Straighten the other leg. Move the block over closer to that leg. Bend your left knee. Foot on the ground. Make sure your hands are supporting you well behind you. You can take fists or hands or however you want to lean back so that your back is supported in this. Engage your core. And then we'll lift. We'll go left and right a few times. I never count. I just kind of wait till the feeling is the same in my body. Breathing deeply is probably not a good thing, but I can't seem to manage to stay counting very well. So maybe you are counting, see if you can do the same. Now notice if one leg is significantly different than the other. You know, all of us tend to have, you know, differences where we have dominance in one side of the body versus the other. Are you engaging your core? Let's do one more. Okay. And then relax. Take the block out of there. Soles of the feet together, far away. Don't hold them close into your pelvis. And lengthen your spine. Relax. You can take your knees inside or elbows inside your knees to open up your hips. Deep breaths here. Relax. Before we come up to stand, we're gonna just do a little awakening of your core. Put a block between your thighs, lie on your back. Okay, ground through your feet. That deep, low core is such an important aspect of balance. So root into your feet. And we're gonna root the outside edges of your feet and hug the block in on our exhale. And on our inhale, release a little. And on our exhale, hug the outside edge of your feet in, hug the block, breathe out. You can put your hands on your low belly to kind of give it some awareness that this is where you want the work to be happening. The inner thigh muscles are super strong, and of course they're going to be doing some work, but share with that deep low core. Can you feel the psoas and the transverse abdominis kind of finding their way into some strength as you exhale to engage and inhale to release? Now hang on to that block if you'd like. You don't have to. You can get rid of it if you want. Come lifting up into a bridge pose. Now let's wake up the back side of our body to help us with our balancing. Root into the four corners of your feet. Feel the strength of your back. Lift your sternum toward your chin. Rock onto the tops of your shoulders. Press your arms into the ground. Engage your glutes, maybe drag your feet a little bit toward your shoulders. And then exhale and lower your pelvis back down. Let's windshield wiper our knees and just find some nice ease here in the body. All right, and let's roll to our side and come all the way up to a dog pose. As you find your way into a dog pose, enjoy maybe a little pedaling of your feet again. Maybe just you can take your feet wide and give some room to your belly, whatever feels nice in your body. Come forward into a plank and hold yourself sturdy and steady. Engage through your whole 360 of core. Let this be about your core more than about your chest. Push the ground away, stretch your heels, finding that center body. Let's turn the navel to the right. Back to center. Turn the navel to the left. Back to center. Lower yourself down. Roll the shoulders. And then inhale to lift to a cobra pose, stretching out your belly. Exhale. Coming back down. Lift back up all the way to dog pose. Long spine. Let's walk our feet forward. Come to Uttanasana, a deep forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Maybe your hands come on blocks. Exhale and melt again. Now ground the inner feet. Put your hands on the outsides of your knees. Come like you're going to go into a chair pose, but maybe not all the way. And then root into the inner feet. Push your knees into your hands, hands into your knees, and turn on those outer hip muscles again. Finding your breath. Root the inner feet. Spread the toes. Push your knees and hands into each other. Try to feel like you can pull your feet apart from each other on the mat. And then relax. And inhale. Stand all the way. Arms to the sky. Exhale. And fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Step your left foot back. Let's just lengthen through our hip flexors here. Open up through your heart. Breathing deeply. Let's bend and straighten the knee so we feel our way into our hamstring and we feel our way into our hip flexors. Beautiful breaths here. When your head comes lower to the ground, feel again that deep sense of grounding. Okay, push up onto your right foot and feel that extension, squaring the hips, engage your core. Lots of work in the backs of your legs. Breathing deeply. When you're ready, we're on your next exhale, Jiva squat. Tuck down and start to feel what it feels like to bear weight in one foot. Then inhale and slowly press straight. Exhale. Dropping down. Inhale. Reaching back. Place that foot down next to the other. A halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Step the right foot back. Left foot is in front. Finding that lunge. Enjoy what your legs are offering. It's so nice to stretch your hip flexors. And then let's go ahead and straighten the front leg. Open up the hamstrings. Then open up the hip flexors. Nice and slow. Moving with the rhythm of your breath. A full inhale. Full exhale. Find your lunge. We'll push up. Stand on one leg. Hands on blocks. Square off the hips. Lift your left hip high and back. Spread open the bones of your feet. Engage your core. Stretch crown to tail to heel. A deep breath, and as you exhale, slow and steady, squat down on that one foot. And then inhale and push the legs straight. Exhale, squatting down. Inhale, pushing straight. Put your right foot down next to your left. Pause here, come to a halfway lift, extend. Just let your body feel length. Okay, spread open the bones of your feet. Breathe while you're here. And then while you're here in a half lift, so nice and supported with your upper body, drag your feet apart again. Try to rip the mats. Pull your feet apart. Feel all those that work in your outer hips. And then relax. Come into a chair pose. Let's not use a block because we're going to move from here. So see what it feels like. You can have your feet together or apart, your choice. Inhale to a chair. Turn on your back body a little bit. Feel your core help you, feel your quads help you. And then for interest of balance, bring your palms together or out to the side so you have a little more centering. Bear your weight into your, let's stand up briefly, just give a little juice to your thighs, come back down. We're gonna bear weight into our right foot and hover through our left. You can have your arms out or your palms in. And then push off that foot, lift that knee up, reach your arms to the sky, and just notice your balance. Get dristy gaze, soft somewhere, engage your core. Try to bring your arms out to the sides and stretch your heart to your hands. And then slowly put your foot back down onto the ground, back into our chair pose. Squatting down, full breaths. Drop some weight into your left foot and hover your right foot off the ground. And try not to do weird things where you're sticking your hip out or leaning way over. Integrate your core. Find your breath. And then stand up. Bring that knee with it. Lift your arms to the sky. Feel that extension, ribs lengthening upward. And then bring your arms out to the sides. Heart to hands, all the way through to your fingertips. Soften your gaze. Try to keep your crown over your tail. And then relax and melt. So lots of work, in our legs. To do this, take your legs wide and just come to a deep squat now. Wide-legged squat. Elbows inside your knees, root into your feet. Breathing deeply. I haven't done this in a while. Let's come lying down on our back. On our right side. And have your body so that it's a long line. Okay. Lift your left, what arm would that be? This is your left arm up in the air. Integrate your core. Now bring your hand onto your hip. And I want you to feel that mouse hole that's underneath your sideways. So we're engaging the obliques and the transverse abdominis. So as you exhale, draw the side waist in like you're pulling a drawstring on a pair of pants. And then inhale and let your side waist come toward the ground. Exhale to lift it up so that there's a little gap for a mouse to climb under. That's your mouse hole. And then release. Remember to do this with the proper rhythm of your breath. Exhale to lift and inhale to let go, which is kind of counterintuitive. For much of the time we lift when we inhale. So just see what it feels like to consciously lift that up when you exhale. All right, relax. Reach that arm straight up in the air again, and now we're going to lift the leg too. So who said balance poses have to be standing, right? So draw weight into your right leg, press it into the ground. Engage your mouse hold, turn your toes forward toward the front of you, and lift into your hand. Breathing deeply. All right, and then come back down. Roll to your side, and we'll repeat on the other side. So on your left, slide the hand up overhead.
You can do a different position too if you know your shoulder is uncomfortable or your head needs a little more support. I like to put my hand in front of me to start, or to start with my hand up and then put it on my hip. So your choice. If you feel like you need a little extra support, you can put your hand in front of you. But if you can, once you get situated here, see if you can keep your hand on your hip because it's already more balanced then. But of course, if you feel more stable, hand can be on the ground. All right, so mouse holes on this side. Inhale to release. Exhale to engage. Inhale to release. And exhale to engage. Try to focus on what the side waist of your body is doing. It's very easy to just kind of try to squeeze your legs together. So try to let this live in your pelvis, your pelvic floor, and your deep low belly muscles. Try one more. And then relax. Okay, now we'll lift our arm back up and our leg too. Turn your toes forward, engage your core. Try to let your neck relax. Mouse holes fully engaged, outer hips are fully engaged. This is what helps our balance here. Deep core, deep hips. Flex your foot, reach into your leg, lift it, lift it. All right, and then relax. Come lie on your back and bring your knees to your chest and just rock a little or circle. Just let some ease happen in your hips and in your legs. Breathing well. Okay. While we're here, open up into a Supta Baddha Konasana for a moment and just let your hips get used to opening up. A full breath in, full breath out. And then we'll roll to our side and come up to stand. All right, so we're going to do 3 standing balance postures. Okay, so the first one is going to be tree pose. Okay, so if you need some support, you can take some support. Walls are really close by. You can also have your toes touching the ground still, or your toes low, or you can put your foot high. So choose a pathway that you want to be in, and then open that knee. The left knee opens up. Feel your right hip, hug it in, engage through your mouse holes here. Feel the pelvic floor support you, and reach your arms up if it's available. Keep your neck relaxed. Your neck and your jaw and your eyes do not have to do work here. Open up the knee, engage through your core, hug that outer hip in. Your standing knee, unlock it. Try not to feel the sense of locking out. Now, where's the control? Kind of notice the mind. And relax and release. Stand in Tadasana for a moment and just enjoy 2 feet on the ground. Close your eyes and feel your roots. Unlock your knees. Try not to push them back. Try not to push your pelvis forward. Draw your thigh bones back a little bit. Core is here for you. Center your roots and drop them deep down. Open up across your heart. Maybe even turn your palms forward. And then we'll sink our roots down into our left foot and do the same thing on the second side that you did on the first side. So I started with my foot on my shin. So I'm repeating that. All right, so your hip, try not to stick your hip out. This is, how we like to lock into our joints. Hug the hip in, open the knee back, engage the pelvic floor and the core. Feel that outer hip support you. Reach your arms if it's comfy for you to do so. And as your balance, sways and maybe fall, maybe you get back in, just see where you are. Check in with the mind. See if you can let this be a steadier for the mind instead of a wobble for the mind. How's your breathing? Relax and melt again. Feel free to give yourself a little wobble, a little shake, a little bounce, whatever feels good. Full breath in, full breath out. Let's take our legs wide. Okay. Round through your feet. Reach your arms out like a standing star. Take up so much space. Feel how grounded that wide-legged stance feels. You need a block for this. Sorry, should have told you to get one close by. Okay. We're going to turn our right foot out. And let's start in a Parsvakonasana, elbow on the knee. Stretch your arm overhead just to feel and enjoy the groundedness of our legs. Full breaths here. Thigh bone back so that your left thigh, draw it back. Press into your feet. Inhale and come back up. And we'll grab this block. I'm going to back up because I always hit my furniture. Make sure when we go into Ardha Chandrasana that your foot stays pointing straight. It's so easy to turn it in or out. Keep your toes pointing straight. We're going to bend our knee, come up into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Hand on a block. If you need extra balance, you can take the block further out away from the pinky toe side of your foot. Now notice if your back is arching. Draw your floating ribs in. Move your tail toward your heel. Lift that leg. Engage your core, your outer hips. Feel how your feet are supporting you. Notice your shoulders, move them away from the ears. Find your way into your breath. Now remember, these poses always can be done with some support if you need it. A giant step back, come out from where you came in, and then pause before we do the second side. And just feel your feet. A deep breath in, a long exhale out. And let's move to the second side. Turn your foot to the left. Let's start with the Parsvakonasana. Elbow can come onto your knee and stretch your arm overhead. Enjoy the groundedness. Let your body root into the earth. Soften your shoulders. Keep taking that right thigh bone back. Track open your left knee. And push your body straight. Grab your block. Now remember, when we find our way into Ardha Chandrasana, the starting point is to have your foot pointing straight. Now, all that flex and point and opening up our feet, try to spread your toes here. Get a wide toe bend. Come into this posture. Bend your knee, hop up onto this foot, and if you need support, you can do this against a wall or put your foot on a wall. Lots of choices to help you with some balance. Open up, shoulders away from the ears, ribs in, finding your breath. Unlock your standing knee, try not to have it push straight. Open up across your pelvis. Use your outer hips and your core. Notice your feet, both of them. And when you feel ready, a giant step back out the way you came in. Pause in Tadasana. Let's enjoy the fact that you have 2 feet on the ground. Full breath in, full breath out. Notice, you're working hard in lots of very specific places, so feel free to give yourself a jiggle or a bounce to release some of the tension. This will be the last of the standing poses, and then we'll get on the ground. Okay, so we're gonna stand on our right foot, and we're gonna bring our left foot over for a figure four. If you need support, the best way is to stick your butt against a wall or a piece of furniture so that when you come into this posture, you have support from the back of your body instead of, trying to reach to the sides. Okay. So however you want to be in the pose, we'll start on the right leg, left foot is on top of right knee. Bring yourself down. Don't worry if your balance gets lost. It's the mind practice we're looking for. Remember, it's the mind practice. Breathe deeply. Wide sit bones. Maybe you want to come like a chair with your arms. Maybe your arms prefer to be outside like the diver off the platform. Maybe you want to tip forward a little bit. Maybe you're like, anything, just get me out. And then come on up. And bring that foot down. Pause between the two sides so you feel that sense of grounding. Maybe close your eyes for a moment so you notice how you are. Have you stopped your breath in the balance poses? Does your mind get trapped up in control? See if you can focus on the alignment that's needed, but then let the mind rest inside the balance or lack thereof. Try not to attach. Okay. So remember class on Monday, the sense of detachment, where we're not letting the pose control us. We're not trying to control the pose. We're just here. All we are is just here. Breathing and working with our balance. Let your mind soften. Let your gaze soften. Put your arms anywhere that's supportive. You could try up. You could try out. Maybe you're holding on to the wall behind you or a piece of furniture. Maybe you'd like to dip a little deeper. Finding your strength. Keep that hip hugged in. And then lift on up and put your foot down onto the ground. And one more time, one last time, we'll be here standing. Just feel into your feet, maybe rock into your toes, rock into your heels. Let's have some gratitude for our feet. Gratitude for our stable legs. Even if you're unsteady, even if your balance is off, sink your roots and have some gratitude for the fact that you are standing. Inhale, arms up. Let's exhale and float forward. Just relax. Relax your head. Let it bobble. Feel how close you are to the ground. Inhale for a halfway lift. Melt to fold again. All right, let's come down. Rest in child's pose. Take your knees closer, wide, arms up or down, and notice the earth. Notice the ground below you, and just allow yourself to be thankful for it. Let's come on to our back. Grab your strap. You're going to lift your right foot up in the air in that strap. Move your right hip away from your shoulder. Relax into this posture. Opening up the back line of the body a bit. Maybe you want to flex and point your toe. Maybe you want to rock it around and roll it. Maybe you want it to be still, your foot to be still. Whatever you're doing with your foot, drop your femur bone into the earth. We're going to take the strap into the left hand and cross the right leg over to the left. Heel of your right hand in that hip crease, press away. Just open up that outer line of the leg and of the hip. Back up, put your right foot on your left knee, and a little bit of rocking. So instead of the reverse pigeon pose being totally still, let's rock a little bit. And then release that right foot down, left foot in the strap. Breathing well. Relax what you can. Move your hip away from your shoulder, drop your femur bone to the earth. Maybe your foot's doing a little movement, maybe it's being still. Relax your shoulders. Feel how nice it is to feel the ground. All right, take the strap in the right hand, cross the left leg over to the right, heel of left hand in the hip crease, press it away. And enjoy opening up that outer hip a little bit, the outseam of your leg. You can even invert your foot a little bit here. So like as if you want to turn that left foot toward the bottom of the foot toward the ground. Stretch through those peroneal muscles on the outside of your shin. And then leg back up. Left foot on right knee, reverse pigeon pose. Hold on to your thigh and then maybe a little rocking, maybe not. Maybe you like to be still. Maybe a little movement might feel good. Feet onto the ground. And decide what you need. You know, maybe a twist, maybe a happy baby, maybe block under pelvis to stretch your hip flexors a moment. Just kind of finalize your practice. Ask your body what it wants. Take your time. There's no rush. Doing these last little bits of stretches of whatever your body is asking for. And then when you feel ready, Shavasana is for you. And you can do it any which way you want to do it. You can put support underneath your legs. You can be in a supported Supta Baddha Konasana with blocks under your knees. You can be just flat on your back. So, you know, however you want to be in this pose. Shavasana comes. That's it. You know, it's surprisingly a lot of work to balance. So notice if you're tired and melt. Sometimes when you work hard, the melting tastes that much better. You know, it's kind of like hunger makes every food you eat taste better. Working hard makes all the rest feel better. Let's just drop your attention into your body and let it sink. Move your breath well. Before you move, maybe, just invite a little bit of movement in your hands and your feet, your ankles and your wrists, so that you're very awake in your body. And then one more time, feel the ground all along the back of your body. Just have deep gratitude for all the support of the earth below us and gravity above us. And then stretch and move any way that invites. And as you find your way to your side, let's come to a comfortable seat again. Ground yourself. To feel again that you are the rock that can be steady no matter what flows around you. Bring your hands together at your heart and let's send our deep sense of support that we can be a grounded support for others. Let's offer this to those who we want to send our energy to. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.